Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to Council on Future Conflicts, episode 567. 567. Reminds me of something my daughter says. She's like 6'7". I don't know. Anyway, domestic enemies and foreign enemies. Well, I mean, that pretty much says it all, doesn't it? Then that's the show, everybody. Thank you very much. You know, watcher in listening to the opening, I'm going to tap on the glass where I say, like, we need to get a new
No,
intro,
you're completely correct. I've been thinking the same thing every time I see it recently. I even know what videos I want to put where.
But especially now that we've got a lot of domestic hate going on and things like that. So I think that will change the characterization. That being said, there's still a lot of world conflict to include. But definitely, I think we keep the music. The music stays.
100%. Yeah.
You cannot get rid of the music.
Yeah. Now the music, that's our music now. I mean,
I do have as long as we're here and we've brought it up, I do have a taste question. And guys, we should think about this. I agree that the live clips they all need to get refreshed. What I'm wondering what to do with now, though, are all the Chinese military clips and that kind of stuff, because I don't really have new of that.
No, I think there's like Israelis fighting in Gaza. There is
okay, yeah, we
Russia,
can
Ukraine. Well, yeah, a lot of Russian Ukraine stuff. I mean, there's just we just got to think about like all the things that have happened in the last.
Yeah.
And maybe if we put some military propaganda video in there, we use U.S. military propaganda. I'm just saying. I mean, maybe that would be the way to go.
Yeah, Joe, do you want to make that you want to make the public announcement on that one? Because people don't seem to get it.
I'm sorry, on what one? The Nog thing?
Yeah.
So Eggnog is banned from entering the gates of Camp Ponderosa. It will be poured out at the gate as it belonged. And people said, "Are you guys going to do body searches?" Our gate guards already do body searches. I'm just throwing it out there. You know who else drinks eggnog? Antifa drinks eggnog.
It's a good point. I mean,
these guys.
Yeah. I mean, like I'm kind of neutral. I'm Switzerland in this whole thing because of my boiled custard stance. So I mean, boiled custard is probably only one step removed from. It's like the difference between Swiss and German, right? And
yeah, pretty much. Austrian and German.
Squishy Hunter, there will be no eggnog riots, because if you form up to riot, you will be machine gunned. That's not what you don't take crap here.
You know, I just want to say, just before the show, Joe took a very strong stance against the militarization of the police. You know, we've seen a lot of heavy-handed going after Antifa, and I said, Joe, I can't handle this heavy-handed. Why aren't they just shooting these people instead of? He goes, I know, right? If they pop up, it's kind of like a pop-up target. Bang! You just shoot the Antifa guy, and then that's it. No heavy-handed.
In this regard, I'm going to agree with him. And Rick, the best way. Let me tell you the best way to make your eggnog with rum. You get out your eggnog and you pour it into a glass. Then you get out the rum and you pour that into another glass. Then you smash the glass full of eggnog into the sink and drink the rum.
Yes.
There you go.
Hey, guys, before we get started in like the actual content of the show, can I get a group in chat? Feel free to weigh in. This is practically your show on this one too. Guys, can I get some thoughts on this post here? What's the final verdict on the PSA JAKL? From where I'm standing, it basically pulled off what the ACR overpromised and the SCAR priced itself out of. What do you guys think?
I know some folks who have one who like it. I'm not ever going to go for one. It's not my thing. I don't really like the look of it, but the guys I know who have it love it. So
I don't have a problem with the look of it. I mean, I don't think it looks nearly as cool as the Masada did back in 2007. Like when the Masada prototype came out, I mean, it was just like, blah, it was just unbelievable. But it's not like that sexy, but I mean, if you're looking for that kind of, continuous upper receiver, like AR-18, kind of, modernized version
I see
of that.
Rowan has not had enough experience with PSA AKs. Oh my gosh. Dude, seriously. Take the brand hate elsewhere. It doesn't have to be expensive to be quality.
Now,
Heck,
Rowan,
my first AR was a DTI, a Delton, and it was great.
Now, let me just say, Rowan, I do not own a PSA rifle. Let me just say that front. But here's what I've heard. I've heard some of the early stuff was a little iffy. But then again, that's a lot of companies' early stuff is a little iffy. But by the time they got to like what Joe was talking about, the AKs and their current lineup of AR products and everything like that, it's kind of like, I mean, it's not a $3,000 AR-15. It's not attempting to be, but their $400 AR-15 is almost as good as anybody else's $900 AR-15. Well, I guess it's not 400, it's 500, right? But
by the way, most problems people have with ARs and AKs is user error, not manufacturing issues. So,
you're talking about with ARs?
Yeah, or AKs. Either way.
Yeah.
It's a lack of understanding of the platform and how it should be used.
Joe, now I do remember those. What was the company that basically hired chimpanzees to assemble their, the Wasser 10s or whatever they were, the AKs? Who was that company that was doing that? I can't remember who it was, but they were famously just terrible.
Yeah, I don't either, but yes, you're right.
Squishy Hunter for $10 over on Rumble says Senate confirmed 48 Trump appointees, and I wanted to call attention to one that would otherwise slip through the cracks. Congratulations to the new ambassador to Djibouti, the Honorable Dixon Uranus.
Listen,
you see what he did?
I wanted
to be there, Joe.
I wanted to be the one to Djibouti, but they did not. They didn't take me seriously. Joe, I could be a very good ambassador to Djibouti. I could press our issues deep and get a thorough understanding.
I'm just saying, I think with a name like Dixon Djibouti and Dixon Uranus, I think that's probably he's going to do a lot better job.
I imagine he had the job on lock from day one.
I'm sorry, but did you see the other person whose name
Century Arms? Thank you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Did you guys see the other person that was revealed yesterday to have a horrifyingly job-accurate name?
Who?
Well, it was revealed yesterday that the world's 5th richest man, who is the head of AI integration in the Ray-Ban Meta merger, his name is literally Rocco Basilisco. His name is literally Rocco's Basilisk.
Okay.
Well, if you guys don't understand, Rocco's Basilisk is a thought experiment.
Yeah, I know what it is.
It's.
I guess I just didn't realize what he had to do with AI.
So he is integrating AI into glasses so that we can get AI tracking for all of our little human movements that they're trying to be able to get robots to replicate.
Hold on, I want to correct policies being passed around in the YouTube chat. Rick, Johnny was still trying to figure out how to clean his rifle. It was Scott and I that helped you find it.
Yes, that's right. Oh, there we go. Here we go. I built. Yeah. Where did I leave my rifle?
Me. What brand is it? PSA. Why? I'm like, well, because if it was like a Daniel Defense, I was going to tell you we couldn't find it, but it's right here. Good times, Rick. Good times. But shooting usually goes better when we actually hit the target.
That's true.
I'm just kidding.
And anyway, gentlemen, I just wanted to thank you, Joe, for sharing the show. I wanted
to spend a couple minutes during the intro to discuss the absolutely malicious attacks that were launched on me by NC Scout and our very own Scott yesterday. Do we have that tweet somewhere? Hold on.
Yeah. Do you know the one he's talking about, Watcher?
Oh no, I thought this is the video he said he sent me, but now I can't.
No,
I'm gonna do that here in a second. But I wanted to.
We're still having fun. I just found the A2 Brutus, so let me share that.
Yeah.
Watcher,
let's go.
I'm dropping it in the private tab.
Okay, Joe, that video, I'm not seeing it.
It's probably still uploading. I can probably share it. From
this. Oh yeah, no, this needs a response.
I mean, who knew that Joe was doing more time in Ukrainian trenches than Malcolm Nance?
Yeah.
Wait a second. Isn't Malcolm Nance a sniper too?
Malcolm Nance thinks he is. First of all, the most amazing thing about this, one Ukrainian camo fits in well on grandma's couch, which is where Ukrainian fighters appear to spend most of their time. But second, the most important thing is that is a PTD 41. And I can't believe they still have one working and operable. That is a World War II anti-tank rifle. And they are still in service in the Ukrainian army. Or PTRD. PTRD.
Yeah, 41. PTRD, yeah. Anti-tank self-loading
gun.
But
Watcher modified that photo. I'm not Watcher. Scott modified that photo. Where's...
So NC Scout says, Dolio, you went over to Ukraine without me. And then I said, looks like his twin is on the loose and a rifleman to boot. Watcher, it's literally just below that one, my response.
I see. Yeah.
If you notice, I just kind of showed the top of the picture that was cut off in the previous one, where the sword bayonet. The sword bayonet of from a Baker rifle. I mean, so Joe, they got all kinds of old, anachronistic kind of gear over in Ukraine. And then there's also a little chosen man patch there on the breast. So,
good stuff. Oh, I didn't see the chosen man patch. Now I do. Well done. Well done. Thank you. And I wanted to share, real quick, this. Also, Charlie Kirk vigil in my neighborhood last night, as we all should. And this is what it looked like. Watcher, I hit the share button. So.
Oh, I see. Okay.
All right, here we go.
Boy, that's a lot of people for a small Montana town.
For little Kalispell, Montana, it was a great crowd.
Oh, is that the grocery store where we went to, Joe?
It is.
Sike Steiner, yeah. No, it says Sike Steiner, the little diner we went to in town.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
So that's pretty much it. I do want to thank the folks of the Flathead County Sheriff's Department. They did a fantastic job of keeping the local Antifa elements away. And yeah, there are local Antifa elements in Flathead, Montana, Flathead County. They had a pretty good ring around it, and they had a couple guys right in the crowd circulating through, and I made sure to shake each of their hands and thank them. But listen, if you've got one of these in your area, go ahead and go to it, man. Go there, not just to attend and give your respects, but be a sheepdog. Be out there and make sure nobody acts silly. A lot of times these people get inside that crowd, then they throw the paint or whatever on people. Stop them. It's okay. You're not going to get in trouble. Feel free.
Oh. Yeah, here's the other thing too. You're gonna find out there's a lot of people in your community that think exactly the same way you do about this horrific stuff.
Correct.
And maybe these are people that you would never meet any other way, and just it's a good place just to kind of go and shake some hands. You'll see some people probably with some T-shirts or something like that that's closer aligned with what you're into, and just. I mean, let's be honest. You can't be a shrinking violet. You got to get out there and meet people and say hello. And
we are live on Rumble.
You got to engage.
We should be.
Somebody just asked. I'm pretty sure we are.
Yeah, I am live on Rumble.
Yeah.
We have 83 viewers over on Rumble right now. Only 83. Joe, our show is not as popular as it used to be. But hey, I'm here for the real version of our show, not the one that gets us thousands of viewers. Thank you, Rick. By the way, I want to apologize for the sneezing and probably some coughing and the sniffling. I am got some sort of cold. Flu, something, I don't know. I will be going to bed as soon as the show is over because I am tired.
You're a trooper.
Same with the Mrs. Spear. She's sick too, and I kicked her out of the bedroom last night because I didn't want to get sick. So, if you believe I saw that. Bad news.
Exactly. Kaiser John for $1 says happy Friday. Hey brother, appreciate you. Hey, just so you know, I mean, I don't do this as much as I used to, but what the hell, it's Friday. There's a couple ways you can support us if you are inclined to. Many of you choose to on a regular basis, and we're very happy about that. You can either become a member over on YouTube or on Rumble. Either or is fine. We get more a bigger percentage of the Rumble money. But here's the thing: we've got our usual suspects that hate seeing the white chats over there. So if you're in the Rumble chat, you'll probably be given a membership quickly. So I'm not saying don't buy a membership. I'm just saying if you just hang around long enough, you'll probably be gifted one. And then there's always super chats. Super chats, $10 or more. As soon as I see them, we will pop them in and let people. Oh, speaking of popping a $10 in, Kaiser John again. Hold on a second, Kaiser John for $10. Happy Friday in parentheses, correct amount. Yes, I appreciate that. Thank you very much, brother. $1. I tell you what, I felt good about $1. I feel great about $10. So thank you. Yeah, memberships are the best way to support the channel because that's just kind of like, it's kind of like a voluntary subscription to the show. We do this for free, not because we're trying to get C. Westby for $10 says buy Joe's books. Yeah, 100%. If you are short on money, don't send me a super chat. Buy Joe's book. Not only will it put money in Joe's pocket, but Joe's book will be the thing that you need when the lights go out and all the works are books. So
I'll tell you the biggest compliment to me is that every time there's any sort of a major world event, book sales go up because that tells me that people realize its worth and its value. And I thank you guys for helping spread the word. And they're actually showing up on the they're showing up in the wild, right? All over Twitter, guys are saying, hey, look, this is my book collection. And my books are usually among them. So that's actually pretty cool. I have got to get number 6 done and out, but life here has been a little bit busier than I thought, which is good. And we got more folks coming out for class than I had planned on, which is also a good thing. On that note, man, there was a guy. Yes, Jay Clark, I'm working on it being ready by Mountain Readiness, but we'll see how this weekend goes. There was a guy who tweeted out about Matt and I's classes and says that we charge out the nose for the classes and it's ridiculous. Let me first of all say that we're barely paying the bills with what we charge, and it's our only job. We're not working somewhere else and then maybe doing these classes on the weekend. It's literally what we do, and we have to pay all of our family's bills on them and feed people and all of that. $500 for a weekend of good, legitimate training is not expensive at all.
Yeah.
There are guys out there charging $1,800 to $2,500 for a weekend.
Yes.
We're charging just enough to get to the event and spend time with you. So it's crazy.
Yeah. And just as I say, as I invoke Low-Key LARP's very consistent support on the show, he shows up and has gifted 5 subs to Future Conflict. So if you are over there in the Rumble chat and you are not a member, you will probably be a member very soon. So thank you once again, Low-Key LARP. We really appreciate your continued support.
Bro, the grind. Be prepared remembers that, because Matt and I famously have this conversation every time we're having a class. We'll be out in the middle of class, we're right in the middle of some field exercise, and one of us will look at the other and go, bro, we're working. And the other one will say, bro, the grind. But it is a lot of fun getting out and actually meeting everyone and building that community and teaching people to be a little more self-sufficient. It's pretty awesome. And by the way, be prepared, since you are paying attention now, since I mentioned your name, remember to stop at Buc-ee's for me on the way to the next event, on the way to the October event, and enjoy the events going on there in North Carolina this weekend.
Here's my question to the chat. We always get like 5 or 6 people to answer. So, but if I were to start teaching a class, is that something that any of you guys would be interested in? Now, I don't know exactly what it would be yet, though. My background as an infantryman and a public affairs officer and or public misinformation officer as the head of the Council on Future Conflict, if that's something that would be interested in, just let me know. Crypto class, I could do that.
As I sat around with Jim over the golf course last night having a tea, he mentioned that a good spot for you to consider is a PAO for DHS.
It's one of those kind of things. Like I would only do it during a based administration. But yeah, that would be something that I would consider. What I don't want to do is I don't want to work for DOD or DOW. Well, I don't know. Maybe I could be a civilian for DOW.
Since I see them both in the chat, APD 642 and John Deloche, also known as Lee and Patrick, you are both admonished because neither of you made it to Bible study on Tuesday, and God was watching. I'm just throwing it out there.
God saw
you. You probably should not do a Ukrainian to English tactical communications course.
I'm doing it. That's going to be it. We're gonna have a 30-minute map, map recon of the current frontline trace of the Ukraine war, because it will go on forever. So we will always be able to do that.
Actually, you being an accredited mechanized infantry officer, cavalry officer, I might have an idea. So
I don't know about cavalry.
Ooh, vehicle operations, baby.
Well, yeah, that's kind of where I was going. It didn't have to necessarily be cavalry, but you know how to put all the vehicles in a row and move from point A to point B. So.
Yeah, that is something I've qualified for. And I did convoys in Iraq for quite a while. So yes, that is something I am.
But you see, between the two of us, with you doing big army convoys and me doing convoys with whatever vehicles you could stick together and civilian crews, somewhere in the middle of that is where we're looking at, right? And we could probably put something together on that.
Well, because the idea is you would be talking potentially about convoys in a let's say, I won't say a permissive, like a semi-permissive environment, right? Because you don't need convoy operations really in a permissive environment. You convoy because you need security, and you're expecting trouble.
Much like they already do into Detroit to deliver food to the convenience stores. So
I could also do a Derby Pie appreciation course.
Yeah, I was a tail gunner
Yeah.
on an 18-wheeler during the Battle of 2030.
I mean, Joe's already got his combat patch from the Battle of Texas and New Mexico, as part of the purebloods.
Deep lore.
All right, guys, let's jump into our first odds and ends, shall we? Now, I'm not saying this is the literal worst idea ever, but on the face of it, I'm not a fan. Let me just say that.
Yeah, this is the second worst idea I've heard in 24 hours.
Well, let's be honest. Jelani meeting with Trump in New York City is the worst idea, but this one is maybe a close second. U.S. seeking to regain control of Bagram Air Base. Okay, now so here's the thing, right? I get it. I understand the argument as to why Bagram is a strategic piece of a strategitic asset, right? And we have bases in countries all over the world, and including in some countries like in Cuba, for instance, we have a base, which, you would normally think that wouldn't make sense, but it's basically like one of those come and take it, motherfuckers kind of situation.
We've held that thing since 1898. I'm not about to just let it up. Yeah.
That's exactly right. And so, I guess the Guantanamo Bay in the 40s was a totally different vibe than Guantanamo Bay in the 60s.
Right.
So I understand the argument as to why this is considered kind of prime real estate for us, especially in regards to a China scenario. Okay, I get that, right? But the problem comes in with who owns it? Well, the fucking Taliban owns it, right? So what would you do? Would you rent it from the Taliban? Would you lease the land? Would you buy it? Now let's be honest. The Biden administration was just sending pallets of cash to the Taliban. So, it can't get any worse than that. But, this is, I thought this was kind of like a head scratcher for me. Let's read through this and we'll see what we can make of it, Joe. U.S. forces relinquished control of the major air base 2021. During the forced drawdown from the country, the United States handed over control of the base to the Islamic-backed Republic of Afghanistan, which collapsed in August 2021 as the Taliban seized control of the Afghan capital city of Kabul. As Bloomberg reports, Trump has criticized former President Joe Biden over the tumultuous U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan in 2021, claiming the move left in the hands of the Taliban government American weaponry and other military assets, including the base of
Can I address the absolute gaslighting that sentence puts in there? Claiming that the move left in the hands of the Taliban government American weaponry and military assets. That's not a claim. It is an actual fact.
It's a fact.
Yep.
Trump has repeatedly said that the facility is now under the control of China, a claim, now that is a claim, that Afghan authorities have disputed and that it is still holds strategic value for the U.S. Speaking during a press conference, actually, let's just go down and watch the video at the bottom, and we'll see what Trump said about this.
We're going to leave Afghanistan, but we're going to leave it with strength and dignity. And we're going to keep Bagram, the big air base, one of the biggest air bases in the world. We gave it to them for nothing. We're trying to get it back, by the way. Okay, that could be a little breaking news. We're trying to get it back. Okay. One of the reasons
rewind it.
Here's Starmer had no idea.
Yeah. Watch his face.
We're trying to get it back, by the way. Okay, that could be a little breaking news. We're trying to get it back because they need things from us. We want that base back.
Look around the room.
You know what's funny is that it didn't hit him immediately, and here's why. I can almost tell you the exact thought, which was,
we're trying to get it back, but
he's not shocked yet. He's thinking, okay. And then he goes,
What?
Wait a minute. Why do they want it back?
Be a little breaking news.
Wait a minute. Where's Afghanistan close to?
To get it back.
Oh my God! They're going to war with China.
Yeah, you're giving him much credit. He's not thinking that. He's like, what? Why would he want to go back to Afghanistan? That's what I think. I don't think he put it together that quickly.
He's just like,
be right.
Where is this? This is not on our notes. We were not going to be talking about this.
I thought that was fucking hilarious, though.
I am delighted with the way he's decided to treat Starmer, because you know that like there's so many of these guys who like there's verified, it's still out there, they haven't even deleted the tweets, they've said like legitimately unrecoverable things about Trump. And instead of coming out and like saying, hey, I'm not going to deal with you, he's essentially ran roughshod over the top of them and said, yeah, I'm just going to smile at you and then you're going to do what I want, right? There you go. Good boy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's been this whole fucking, this whole kind of trip to.
I mean, he had the king walking 10 paces behind
him.
Yeah, we should probably talk about the fact that, in case you're not aware,
can you find that video?
Yes,
Can you find that video?
I'll pull it up. In case you guys are not aware, the honor that Trump was shown has never been shown to any one other foreign dignitary on record, and I don't even remember who that was. They don't do this. Also generally they make it a rule that if they're going to meet with a dignitary, it's one royal at a time. And they sent 2 this time, which has never happened before. So I need to find the video still, but there's that.
Yeah, so what I thought was really funny was there was some leftist making fun of the fact that nobody came to visit him or put out the red carpet at Air Force One. I was like, wait a second, you don't understand where this is happening. That's just like him. That's just him getting, because the red carpet goes from fucking Heathrow all the way into and as we saw when they transitioned him to this carriage and then brought him up behind like the horse guards. I mean, it's like you can't get a bigger red carpet than what Britain did.
Let me give my official position. Going back to Afghanistan reopens a wound that is best left closed, and it puts people at risk for literally no reason other than to say, "Ha, I undid something Biden did," and I think it's an absolutely silly thing. The reason why Bagram was safe is because we owned everything around it. If you went back to Bagram now and just held Bagram, it would not be a safe place. And I think that is silly. And someone who said something about the British going back, I'm going to be honest with you. On the last days there, the British general was the warfighter, not the American. And he actually came into that airport and lit into the American commander on scene and said, what on earth are you doing? You're putting people at risk for no reason. So I'm going to give the Brits the credit where it's due there. And I will point out that it was a British Marine commander who went, off the rails there. So.
By the way, Charles's speech was actually fairly decent, I thought. I listened to it. I didn't think I was going to listen to much of it, but I ended up listening to the whole thing, and it's Charles, so I have zero expectations. So I was surprised at how affable it was.
Did he open with "Assalamu alaikum"?
Yeah, right. Did you see in that same press conference, by the way, Keir Starmer was asked if Britain is still a Christian country?
What did he have to say for himself on the subject?
He was talking about he's a lifelong member of the Bleed
Fabian Society. Here we go. Anyway. Finally found it.
All right. So there's Trump with the commander of the guard, and they've got the dung scooper following 5 steps behind.
I'm pretty sure the commander of the guard was seeking asylum in the United States right there.
He's like, "Is it you got anything for me? I'm looking for a job."
Is there room in Air Force One for me?
I'm just, you don't even have to give me a job. I'm just looking for citizenship.
As I told people, while we accept silver here
Oh,
and
wow.
I prefer Britannias to liberties, we do not accept Britannias with Charles's face on them. They're not valid.
That's a good one.
Oh, and Steve, good one. Great hat. Great big hat. I love it. It's the fuzziest.
You know what I love is how like amazing Brits like Christian Craighead have come to America, become U.S. citizens, been honored by Donald Trump, and now has a bigger gun collection than is probably allowable, by any 100 men in the UK. Probably any 10,000 men in the UK. Yeah. So anyway, that's there was some cool stuff there. So anyway, onward and upward. Moving on. You love to see it. Judge orders pro-Palestinian activists to be deported to Syria or Algeria. Don't send me to Syria, please, God, no. Last spring, the deportation case of Columbia University graduate student and pro-Palestinian activist Mahmoud Khalil grabbed headlines in the U.S. and around the world after an immigration judge ruled that under a decades-old federal statute, his continued presence in the U.S. soil presents some potentially serious foreign policy consequences. A native of Syria and an Algerian citizen of Palestinian origin, he had long led student protests, which at times spiraled into violence and clashes with police. Oh, by the way, he's probably also a revolutionary communist. After which his permanent resident status was spotlighted. A prior federal court ruling in New Jersey had temporarily blocked the Trump administration's efforts to facilitate Khalil's removal. Now a federal judge in Louisiana has ordered the deportation either to Syria or Algeria. The decision is reportedly to be based on allegations Khalil failed to disclose key information on his green card application, according to the court documents. Now, okay, I'm okay with him being deported for that reason, but you should be able to be deported because you are not living up to your expectations and the kind of the pledges you make when you get a green card. Because there is, there's not like a citizenship oath like with citizenship. With a green card, there you basically sign an agreement that, hey, listen, I'll go on the straight and narrow. And anybody who is doing anti-U.S. propaganda is absolutely is not living on the straight and narrow. So he should be able to be, even if he didn't lie at all on the green card application, he should be able to be removed. His political opponents say he lied on his initial application to enter the country. His legal team plans to appeal, but they fear he may be swiftly booted from the country before slow-moving court processes play out. The deportation order was issued by Judge Jamie Comins, despite his lawyers arguing not to have been charged of any crime, and they argue his deportation is merely retaliation over speech the U.S. government doesn't like. Well, let's be honest. Even if it's an administrative action, it doesn't fucking matter.
No. This is a easily disprovable thing as well for the propaganda's sake. I understand the need to say, hey, we are right, we're just going to do it. But we should say, like, hey, even what you said there's not true. That is not speech the government doesn't like. It is organizing enemy action that the government doesn't like. And you are not a U.S. citizen.
Yeah, I mean, you could even go so far as to say if you dig deep enough into this guy's life, you could probably find sedition and things like that. Let's see. He was issued a statement blasting the ruling. It's no surprise that the Trump administration continues to retaliate against me for my exercise of free speech. Well, go have free speech in Algeria. See how that works out for you. Khalil said of the administration. Their latest attempt through a kangaroo immigration court. Oh, okay, so not even attacking Trump there. You're attacking the judicial process that you're relying so heavily on.
Mm-hmm.
If you have no hope in that, don't spend any money on lawyers. Just be happy to get away from a kangaroo judicial system. Exposes the true colors once again He continued, when their first effort to deport me was set to fail, they resorted to fabricating baseless and ridiculous allegations that are also factual in a bid to silence. He didn't say that, of course. He didn't silence in a bid to silence me from speaking out and standing firmly with Palestine, demanding an end to the ongoing Israeli genocide. Such fascist tactics will never deter me from continuing to advocate for my people's liberation. I tell you, when they put out their spokespeople, they're not sending their best.
Right.
Gentlemen, what's your kind of take on it? I mean, why ask? This is a slam dunk, I think, and it's pretty obvious. But gentlemen, let me know how you feel about this.
I think that Khalil should be given a rapid descent into this country, whichever country we send him to. No sense in landing. We'll just push him out, and he'll be fine. Khalil is a terrorist supporter, so he should be deported. He does not belong here.
Yeah.
Speaking of Pinochet helicopter tours, I would like everyone to know that our man pulled through surgery fantastically and is on the mend. He wound up having a quintuple bypass done.
Wow.
And is recovering. So he thanked everyone for their well wishes and thoughts, and looks forward to a new chance at life. And it's going to be pretty awesome to see. So.
That's awesome, man. I mean, just hearing that he pulled through with no problems. I mean, that's a fairly kind of invasive kind of surgery, but it's not as bad now as it used to be. Most of those bypass surgeries nowadays are what, endoscopic now, right?
Yeah. They went in for a triple and wound up having to be more, but man, well done.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to point out here this thing on the screen. Mahmoud Khalil and Mushin Mandawi have alleged that David I targeted them and called for them to be deported. Okay, and their actions violated U.S. law, so it doesn't really matter if someone targeted them or not. They were breaking the law. This is a classic dodge, right? Well, you only arrested me because I am whatever. No, I arrested you because of your behavior.
Well, we'll give the administration the opportunity to speak for itself here. President Trump weighed directly in at the time of raging U.S. Columbia University protests, where the whole campus buildings were taken over. Many are not students. Actually, you know what? Watcher, you got a good Trump. Why don't you take this one?
Many are not students. They're paid agitators. I can't do it this morning.
Yeah. We will find, apprehend, and deport those terrorist sympathizers from our country, never to return again. He wrote that on Truth Social. The question of vandalism, violence, and illegal occupation of the buildings would present the United States government with actual specifics to prosecute. According to law professor Jonathan Turley, in Khalil's case, he was reportedly under investigation for the takeover of the Columbia building while also serving as one of the negotiators. The takeover was not protected free speech. It's unlawful conduct, and that can and should be punished. Yeah. So, I mean, this guy was a terrorist that just hasn't had a chance to build a bomb yet, essentially. Excuse me. All right. Anything else, gentlemen?
Yeah. Taking over a building is not peaceful protest. It is a crime.
This next story is kind of a twofer, right? Not only do we get to talk about Russia and Ukraine, Joe's favorite topics, but we also get to talk about Africa, probably even Djibouti. RT recently, okay, now let me just keep this. We talk about a bias from the kind of left-wing media in America. This is based on a story from RT, and there will be a lot of bias in this against the Ukrainians. And yeah. So just if you're a shrinking violet, NAFTA bro, just know that before we get into it. But hey, I mean, it's just okay. It's okay. You can hear a report that may not suck off your Ukrainian paymasters. All right. RT, Russia Today, recently published a report about late August claims that the Deputy UN Representative Dmitry Polyansk and Director of Office of Union for International Safety that the Ukraine is responsible for terrorism all across Africa. According to them, it's drone pilot-assisted terror designation forces in Mali, Sudan, Central African Republic, Chad, and the DRC. By the way, if you don't realize that what is it? The SBU, right? Basically the
Where no. What country?
I'm talking about Ukraine.
Oh, the SBU, yes. Yeah.
The SBU, which is kind of like their special operation, it's kind of like a JSOC/CIA, all rolled up into one. They've been doing operations in and around Africa, teaming with forces that are diametrically opposed to forces that Russia is working with in various regions. Now, as you know, Wagner, and then they've changed the name, I think, to Afrika Korps, are PMCs that have been teamed up with many of these different countries in the Sahel region, Central Africa, places like that, where there are considerable mineral resources. And so the Ukrainians, with probably the help of the CIA, has been direct, and probably other French and British intel agencies, because they have a lot of assets in those regions, have been going after Russian assets in the region via these drone bombs for the most part. It's their one trick pony, right? And it seems to be working well for them where they use it. So that's what this is talking about. Kiev has also supplied Libya with drones to use in its civil war despite a Turkish prohibition. Ukraine boasted about backing Tuareg separatists in Mali after they were ambushed by Wagner in summer 2024, so that the part of Russia's accusation is undeniable, which leads credence to the claims that they're also backing similar forces in the pro-Russia Central African Republic. But questions also rise about their role in Sudan and the DRC. Western media reported in early 2024 that Ukrainian special forces were contracted by Sudan's UN-recognized government, while Trump has bragged about brokering peace between the DRC and Rwanda. It would therefore be a startling reversal for Ukraine now to be military aiding Sudanese rebels, not to mention do anything that could risk plunging the DRC back into any sort of serious conflict, and thus embarrassing Trump and how proud he was of the peace deal that helped finally stabilize it. Cynics might also suspect that Russia's accusation that Ukraine's diplomatic missions in Algeria, Mauritania, and the DRC are smuggling arms to groups in Libya, Mali, and northeastern DRC is meant to sow discord. Nevertheless, that's exactly what it's meant to do. It's meant to sow discord against the Russians. Nevertheless, there are compelling reasons to take these claims seriously, which will now be explained. Trump's caprice. I'm not a fan of that writing technique, I will now explain it to you. Trump's capriciousness may have prompted Ukraine to pursue non-Western business opportunities, including those that contradict U.S. interests, like the DRC, as part of a backup plan in case the U.S. one day cuts it off or at least significantly curtails financial and military aid. It'll likely comply with U.S. demands to abandon them if they're made, but thus far the U.S. seemingly doesn't have any problem with the U.S. That's right, because the CIA has probably been helping them, and so has MI6, or is it MI5 or MI6?
MI6, MI5 is the internal.
Internal, right? MI6, and also France has extensive intelligence assets.
See, how this happens is we watch them expecting them to go into the more commonly used port, but they always sneak in through Djibouti when no one's paying attention. It's usually a sneak attack.
The attack from the rear is always the most dangerous, they say, Joe. In fact, Trump might even support Zelensky's entrepreneurialism in principle, especially if his advisors inform him that Ukraine's newfound strategic role in Africa could potentially be leveraged by the U.S. for plausible, deniable, divide and rule purposes in certain future scenarios. Notice there's a not directly negative tone against Trump in this, but there is definitely a kind of like a, well, you never know what the Americans are going to do kind of thing. RT mentioned that Mauritania's nonchalance towards the claim might be due to it simply being unaware of UK's activity on its soil, while praising Algeria for investigating this matter. It's also possible that Russia either suspects those two facilitating Ukraine's activities, or might even have proof of this, but it's giving them a face-saving way to end everything by solely blaming Ukraine's diplomatic mission. Algeria's investigation might therefore be meant to improve recent troubled times with Russia over Mali. Returning to the substance of Russia's claims, it can therefore be assessed that they are likely true, and though it's also possible that some aspects might be revealed to be slightly inaccurate. The problem with reporting like this, Joe, is that, and this is part of what I wanted to talk about, because the thing about this story is we've covered this story pretty continuously ever since the drones started popping up in Africa. And, the problem with propaganda is that it never gives like a satisfying, like there's no like real there when it comes to propaganda. And that's true for this RT piece as well. Mm-hmm. What's your kind of take on just how both sides have exported this conflict around the world, essentially?
Well, I believe it points to the fact that they both actually see this as a total war situation where they're going to engage their enemy on all fronts everywhere they can. And this article is another piece of it. This article would seem to be implying that Donald Trump needs to give more financial support to Ukraine in order to forestall this. But if you want me to be shocked that countries at war are doing dirty tricks against each other in other parts of the world, I can't be, because that's just the way that it's been since the dawn of time. I do think it's cute that the RT article, is trying to make themselves look neutral by saying Russia's claims may be false or exaggerated. But at the end of the day, this entire article is Russian state propaganda. So,
yeah.
While I like RT for raw news, breaking news, its analysis is all garbage like this. So,
right. And so, I mean, you got anything to add?
Not really. I mean, just that, look for Ukraine to do whatever it can to try and put pressure on Russia to sign a peace deal, and since they can't even really hold on their own front lines, that means doing some of this extracurricular shit, because that's all they have.
Yeah, it's not wrong, but the interesting thing that I see here is that Russia has natural interests all over the world. Some of these interests are newfound kind of relationships, and others kind of go back to the Soviet era. And this is Ukraine just being so from a purely military standpoint, I see exactly why Ukraine is doing this. They want to create dilemmas for Russia all over the world, right? Because if you create multiple dilemmas, it forces your enemy to either change how they're operating or operate in a way that causes mistakes, right? So I get that. So from a purely kind of like, I'm not looking at one side versus the other. But here's the problem. When you operate lethal operations in other countries, in third countries, right, especially when they're countries that haven't given permission for this, that's a big problem. and that could cause big problems for you. So it's a risk, right? And I think it's, in this case, I don't know that it's a risk I would take if I were Ukraine. But they're very cavalier about how they're handling this entire war, so it wouldn't surprise
They're
me.
not exactly good at taking advice either. So,
well, it does kind of smack of desperation a little bit as well. So,
but then again, you repeat yourself because you've already said Ukrainians.
That's true. All right. Lance Corporal Veteran for $2. This all sounds like a mini world war. And, I wouldn't say it's a world war, but
Brexit certainly is.
This definitely has aspects that go outside of the direct theater of conflict. That's for sure. All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about with that? I think we can probably move on if you guys are willing.
Move on.
All right. Moving on. Joe Means, tactical-wisdom.com.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I was zoned out. I was reading a comment and I was like, that doesn't even make sense. Anyway, we weren't talking about either the U.S. or Israel, so I really don't understand it. Anyway, tactical-wisdom.com. I just wrote an article there last night about situational awareness because somebody in the chat suggested it. Listen, folks, we have to start seeing the world as it is, not as we want it to be or as it should be, but how it actually is. And the fact that literally no one saw this kid doing a Spider-Man impression, despite the fact that gunfire had just rung out, nobody thought it was odd that there was a kid dangling from the roof of the building. So we have to pay attention to what's going on around us and looking around. Anyway, that guy is really anti-Israel, and I don't understand why. I mean, feel free to be anti-Israel, but I don't know why you're doing it on our show. We've literally said nothing about either of those places today. Anyway,
I mean, despite the fact that we have taken millions of dollars from the Mossad, according to some,
I forgot we get paid by them all the time.
Mossad Monday. Yeah,
I know this is. Yeah, I'm sorry, Joe.
Hey man, listen, Anoki, we know who killed Jesus. We're well aware of it. Have a good day. Anyway, the article just tells people start paying attention to your surroundings. Give some real practical tips on how to get out there and actually pay attention, learn to take a second or two, and gather more information as you're going places. One of the stories I like to tell about situational awareness is that when folks were shot leaving the Aurora, Colorado movie theater, it's because they all went out the same entrance they went in, despite having passed emergency exits along their way. So always pay attention to where exits are, always pay attention, and stop trying to write all of these various attacks that are on the rise off to some small fringe group that doesn't impact you, because it does impact you. The most important part is that one side of America's political conflict is taking shots at the other, and you're on the one that's taking the shots. So you need to be paying attention. So check that out. We have class here next week, security ops class. There are still some seats left in it. It's shaping up to be a pretty good sized class. So that's cool. As is Fieldcraft next month in North Carolina. Last chance to get in a class on the east half of the country with me this year. We'll be doing a Fieldcraft class down there because it ties in very nicely with Scout and Recce. We've got it set up so that with a little over a week taken off, you can get Fieldcraft, Scout course, and Recce course all in one fell swoop. I'll teach you the basic movement and tactical skills to do well in Scout and Recce, where you learn how to launch raids and ambushes and patrols. So come on out and join those things. I will be at Mountain Readiness in Harmony, North Carolina. October 12th and 13th, along with NC Scout, or it's the 11th and 12th. I'll be there with NC Scout, Angry American, T for Mountain Readiness, and a bunch of others. Come join us. It's going to be a pretty good-sized event. I think it'll be sort of a mini CFC event. I think we'll probably do some sort of a roundup together with everyone on Saturday night and hang out for a little bit. And I'll be tenting it, so we're going to be having a good time getting cozy in the woods in Harmony, North Carolina. So come check that stuff out. So.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That sounds like a lot of fun. I honestly
Somebody
thought
was supposed to be there.
I was gonna say I honestly thought I was gonna be there, but the weather-wise, I bet it's gonna just be perfect. The weather will just be.
The weather's gonna be great.
Speaking of Brush Beater, let's do my little radio ad for him. All right, welcome to the Council on Future Conflict. We're tonight. We are sponsored by Brush Beater Store. We're confronting a world of conflict from foreign and domestic enemies. With threats closing in from every side, it's time to stand strong. Enter our sponsor, Brush Beater Store, led by Matt, a.k.a. NC Scout, with training, optics, and medical gear to keep you battle ready. When foreign foes or domestic danger strike, Brush Beater's RTO course equips you with secure comms to outmaneuver any enemy from overseas incursions to homegrown chaos. Elevate your skills with the Tactical Combat Casualty Care course, which teaches you to treat wounds fast, prepared for any front, foreign or local. And when injuries hit, the Tactical Operator Response Kit, or TORC, for $139 delivers a compact, life-saving pack with a CAT tourniquet, chest seal, and hemostatic gauze, ready for any crisis, day or night. Gear up at Brush Beater's Yanceyville, North Carolina training grounds, or visit brushbeater.store/collection/training or brushbeater.store/products. Use code CFC for 5% off courses, optics, radios, or gear. Orders of $100, over $100 shipped for free. Big thanks to Matt and Brush Beater Store for backing the Council of Future Conflicts. Hit brushbeater.store, enter CFC10, and prepare to conquer. Now back to the show.
I carry that torque kit on my everyday carry bag, the first aid kit.
Yeah, I saw the interaction today on X. And I was like, I need to feature that in the ad today.
Yeah. Hey, I had the date wrong, Doc. Thanks. It's the 17th through the 19th. Yeah, I was looking at the wrong weekend in my calendar. That's actually, I'm leaving Montana on the 11th and 12th. So, right. Mountain Readiness is October 17th through the 19th. Don't show up on the 11th and 12th. No one will be there. So, right. I forgot. I've got a couple days visiting my parents in Michigan slated in there. So I had the wrong dates.
You know, I think I might have one of these, or I might have an older version of this, because this is North American. This is North American Rescue. I'm pretty sure I have one of these, or at least the old version, or something similar to it. All right, let's move on. Anything else before we jump back into our main topic for today?
No. Oh, I will point something out. Hey, guys, this is probably going to come as a shock to all of you. You don't need to explain the Bible to me. I'm just throwing that out there. Okay. I do Bible studies 3 nights a week. Teach them, not take them. So I'm probably the last guy you need to fill me in on the Bible. Thank you.
Yeah, Matt L's got it right. It was ultimately the Pharisees.
Right. And the Pharisees were whom?
The Jews. They cared more. Yeah, but let's be honest. I'm just saying. You know, they were. I mean, that's. I always go back to the whole thing on South Park where Cartman goes way too seriously on the Passion of the Christ. he basically starts turning into Adolf Hitler after watching multiple watchings of the Passion of the Christ, blaming the Jews. And anyway, it was funny on South Park. The Passion of the Christ. You know what? I've never seen that movie.
I've never seen it either. I tend to try to.
I've heard it's good.
Well, you know what? Good, yes, but slanted. I tend to stick to things that are more historically accurate. And Squishy Hunter actually nails it. Ultimately, it was my sins that put Christ on that cross. Yes.
Yep. Yeah, that's one problem with the new covenant. You can't get it's not meant to be as literal as the Old Testament was for the Jews.
Yes.
All right. Sorry, I'm just looking at my X feed and it's just making me chuckle. All right. Let's start off with a kind of a going in statement to where we stand with like the right versus the left. And you could argue it's not the right versus the left, it's a different paradigm, but everybody knows what I'm talking about when I say the right versus left. So let's just
that is not a both sides problem. My friend is dead because of left-wing political radicalization. And if you want to cut that out, then be honest about it and look yourself in the mirror.
I mean, and if you need evidence, then we'll go with the next video.
Hold on. Pinochet's helicopter tours has made an appearance in the chat. Welcome home, brother.
Shit.
Welcome home.
Hey, brother, we were praying for you, and we didn't want to say your name on Wednesday, but we definitely kind of gave you a little shout out, an anonymous shout out in the chat. So we had people praying for you, even though they didn't know who they were praying for. So, and we're glad that we're glad it worked out. And welcome home, and get healthy quickly.
Agreed. All right, here's
the evidence.
I want you to stay angry.
That maybe Donald Trump will go away. Maybe he'll go to jail. Maybe he will die.
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
I will go and take Trump out.
He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
Although I will say this, the last few days you woke up thinking there might be news. Just saying.
Violence doesn't come from Democrats, just to be clear. It is MAGA. It's specifically MAGA faction.
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized up to the right.
Most of those white men are radicalized by the left.
True.
For reasons. There's a lot of reasons why these white men are radicalized by the left, but it's not because they're being white men, right? So this is the segment on domestic enemies, and while I don't think anything official has been filed that would actually legally make like a legal determination or a national security finding, now that could be secret, but it would probably be generally more public. I don't think
it's not actually the president who designates someone a terror group. It is the Department of State. So we need that designation to come from the State Department.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, Watcher, based on what you put in the private chat, I've been following that story in the timeline. So we'll add that to the end of because I think this is a perfect example of
because he posted and deleted it, and so I was like, oh, I wonder what's going on there. So hopefully he'll repost it by then.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Libs of TikTok has shared it.
Oh, no. They have it. I mean, that last bit that I added there. We'll get to it at the end, though.
Okay. Yeah, Ken Paxton. Well, I don't know that there's proof. But yeah, we'll definitely talk about it. All right. So, let's see. So let me open my story here. Okay.
Yeah, but we're going to get right into it. While you're opening it, I just want to say this. Before we get anywhere, I believe personally that the important thing to happen right now is for absolutely everyone, whether you have a microphone or not, to point it at Trump and make it very clear that domestic terrorist organization is a label and nothing else, whereas this is a foreign entity that self-admits it was founded in Germany in World War II, takes funding from Canada, China, Germany, and others. This is a foreign terrorist organization, and that designation not only has teeth, it can't be undone by Congress or any judge.
All right, so let's get into this here. President Trump announced his plan to designate Antifa as a terrorist organization. Antifa will be designated by the United States as a terrorist organization, President Donald Trump announced after midnight on September 18th while visiting the United Kingdom. I'm pleased to inform our many USA patriots that I'm designating Antifa a sick, deranged, radical left disaster. He's designating it a sick, deranged, as a major terrorist organization. I wondered there if the major terrorist, or like if that was some sort of a moniker that meant something legally.
It is not.
Yeah, I've come to determine it doesn't. But like when I first heard that, I was like,
what makes you a minor terrorist organization?
Yeah, right,
you are a terrorist or you are not.
So I think the reason that he said major instead of something more specific is because there is debate and there are people whispering in his ears about different ways this should be handled.
Yeah. The president said he would strongly recommend anyone funding the group to be investigated. So let me read his. I'm pleased to inform that many other U.S. patriots that I am designating Antifa a sick, deranged, dangerous, radical left disaster as a major terrorist organization. I will also be strongly recommending those funding Antifa be thoroughly investigated in accordance with the highest legal standards and practices. Thank you for your attention on this matter.
On the basis of that, Washer, what you said about foreign terrorist organization, the video we showed on Wednesday of them talking about their attending the Communist International event that happened in Cuba, that would bear that out, right?
Yep.
You went to a state-sponsored event in Cuba, and you attended training with other brigadistas, which is a fancy sounding word for terrorists.
Terrorists, yeah.
And then came back to spread that information here. That does make you a foreign terrorist organization.
I'll give you another better and older one. Hey, guess who is sending their guys to organizations that are designated by other Five Eye members, although not us specifically, as international terrorist organizations to not only do training but for combat deployments?
Rojava, yeah.
Jim, yes, we did we covered that on Wednesday, and we're clearly talking about it right now. So, excuse me, guys. All right.
Trump said Antifa is terrible.
He's sick. Sick and dangerous. Radical left disaster. I declare it a radical left disaster. Jill McLaughlin reports for the Economic Times that Trump's announcement was made after he and the First Lady met with Britain's royal family at Windsor Castle on the first day of a 2-day state visit to the UK. On Monday, Trump hinted at the designation, saying he would support it in the wake of the assassination of Christian conservative commentator Charlie Kirk last week. It's something that I would... Okay, so I don't need to... Antifa is terrible. Antifa gathered outside the castle on Monday. Charlie's in a box on Wednesday. Yes, fucking just... They don't get it.
You know what? Look, I said this before, and I'll say it again.
Or maybe they do, but I don't think they realize how angry it's making people who you don't want to make angry.
I for one, think the leftists should be encouraged to continue to act like this for as long as possible.
And they should have the freedom of speech to say it publicly so we can collect it and then make sure that there is
exactly that, Scott. That's why I said that Bondi's statement is, one, it should chill you to the bone. The federal government should have no say in what I'm able to say whatsoever. And two, if you drive them underground, you don't know who they are.
Right.
Let them talk. Let people make decisions about their vile nonsense publicly. rather than driving them underground. So,
all right. Let's see.
Your volume is in and out.
He also engraved anti-fascist. So this is the shooter engraved anti-fascist messages on bullets. The FBI continues to investigate the assassination, but has not said whether Robinson was in communications with or associated with any Antifa group. No, his fucking boyfriend was. And they were talking about it online before it fucking happened. So yes, the answer is yes. Antifa, short for anti-fascist, is a political movement that gained popularity with the far left-wing activists in the United States after Trump was after probably the Wall Street protests. That's when it got popular. But it's always been a mainstay of far left, mostly environmental activism, but a broad swath of activism on the far left.
I think that
going back to
Occupy
the
was a galvanizing moment and an eye opener for people on every side. Never forget that Tim Pool went to Occupy as a dedicated and committed leftist and came out a far right radical because of what he saw there and the truth behind the movement. Right?
Yeah,
and it wasn't
that's
really
right.
what it claimed to be.
I think getting his head stomped a few times probably also helped that process.
We can't hear you.
Oh, I said I think getting his head stomped a few times probably also helped that process somewhat.
Well, sure. I mean, wouldn't that? I mean, that would change anybody's mind.
More importantly, why was his head stomped? Because he wouldn't get with the program.
Because he wouldn't take off his beanie.
Well, no, they did that. Famously, that happened at Occupy. They stole it.
Trump raised the idea.
I want to every time I see it.
Trump raised the idea of designating Antifa as a terror group in 2020, posting on Twitter, "The United States of America will be designated Antifa as a terrorist organization." That was during the Summer of Love stuff. Former Attorney General William Barr confirmed the group was present at some of the violent protests following the death of George Floyd. Former FBI Director Christopher Wray viewed Antifa differently, of course, because he's Biden's guy, saying during a congressional hearing in September 2020 that Antifa is not a group or an organization, but a movement or an ideology. Those who are involved in the movement are motivated by communism and anarchism, according to Center for Strategic and International Studies, a bipartisan. It's not a bipartisan.
It's not bipartisan at all.
It's a uniparty think tank. Antifa, let's see. Peter Schweitzer says Antifa certainly terrorizes civilian population and commits acts intended to intimidate and coerce political outcomes. Investigate political violence must be dealt with. I applaud POTUS. Yeah, I mean, this is good. I mean, people are recognizing this.
You can't be motivated by communism and anarchism because they are diametrically opposed to each other. When people say you're an anarcho-communist or an anarcho-capitalist, both of those are ridiculous statements. So,
you know, I think it comes from a confusion by the absolute retards that are involved in that organization, Joe. Not
correct. Correct.
Yeah, because they are self-professed anarchist and communists.
But they don't understand that those are diametrically opposed to one another. I can't have total state control and no state.
I agree with you, Joe. I'm just saying what they are proclaiming themselves as. And I agree. They do proclaim themselves as that. And I also agree with you that they're fucking, clown shoes about understanding what the fuck they even want. The Trump administration did not offer details on Wednesday on how it would designate Antifa as See, that's the key thing here, right? Now, that being said, there are indicators that people within the government are getting the right guidance. Let's see. Bill Cassidy, Republican of Louisiana, praised Trump's amount. He said Antifa seized upon a movement of legitimate grievances to promote violence and anarchy, working against justice for all. The president, I don't know if they had legitimate grievances even, but The president is right to recognize the destructive role of Antifa by designating them as domestic terrorists. No, they should be foreign terrorists, but you're right. They are a domestic terrorist. The United States groups are designated as terrorist organizations after committing violent criminal acts to further ideological goals of political, religious, social, racial, or environmental natures, according to the FBI. As Sundance explains at the conservative treehouse.com, it will be interesting to watch how the Department of Homeland Security, FBI, Department of Justice, and U.S. State Department respond to this intended designation. For many years, we have watched the various assemblies of revolutionary communists, Occupy Wall Street, Black Lives Matter, and personnel related to these organizations evolve and align into the organization of radical leftists now known as Antifa. So, Joe, this kind of links in with what you were talking about the other day. It's like if you're just focusing on the trans part of the whole thing, then you miss all these other flavors of people who want to put a bullet in your head for similar yet unrelated causes. And now, let's also be honest, they are about the most incestuous groups of political hangers-on that have ever existed. Because they all show up at each other's protests. But ultimately, Antifa, if you want to focus on an umbrella group, more specifically, Antifa is the correct umbrella group. But you still can't even
actually RevCom is, because they're actually behind Antifa.
Yep.
Let's see.
You have to. I'm sorry. This isn't. You can focus on all the adjectives, all the pronouns that you like. It's going to have to come down to, do you espouse a communist revolution in America? That's it.
Yeah. So exactly. That's why it used to be illegal to be a communist in America. We've somehow stopped enforcing that. But I think that us trying to throw these labels around is just like I mentioned on the article yesterday. Doesn't really matter in the end. What matters in the end is that there are leftists who are willing to kill you because you think differently than them. That's the important part.
Yeah. So I mean, ultimately, if I had to distill it down to one thought, it would be authoritarian, right? Because no matter what the political, economic motivation of an authoritarian, ultimately they want to take away. They want to rule by tyranny, and they will do that at the barrel of a gun.
So in this article, it says that in the 2020 election, the domain registry of Antifa.com had a landing page of JoeBiden.com. I believe that was actually a far-right plant. I believe someone set that up because having been inside of the Antifa riots in 2020, they didn't want Joe Biden either. They wanted neither of them. They wanted a communist overthrow of the American government, which, by the way, is a violation of 18 U.S. Code 2385. But the left is able to do that at will and not be prosecuted for it. The minute anyone on the right says, hey, maybe we should, they get swooped up and accused of kidnapping governors and such. So,
all right, going back to the article, various offshoots of the leftist cause, anarchists, Occupy, BLM, pro-Palestine agitators, all aligned with the ideology of the foot soldiers who take to the streets to create chaos. Perhaps no other person is more responsible for tracking Antifa's domestic network than Andy Ngo. Andy Ngo has confronted the group, tracked their activity, documented the violence, and traced major parts of their organization. As Andy Ngo said in the aftermath of the Charlie Kirk shooting, expect a lot of liberal and left-wing media propaganda the next few days about Antifa. They will say the movement doesn't organize into groups and that those involved are peaceful, racial justice activists simply opposed to fascism. Don't let them get away with lying. Mr. Ngo puts the challenge of labeling Antifa as a terror group in context here. So he actually makes a good point here, and it kind of undermines the whole label, right? It will be difficult for President Trump to assemble a legally binding designation against the reality of constitutional protection surrounding the First Amendment. He says his personal opinion of the situation is less about labels and designations and more about confronting the violent activity as it percolates. Arrest the people for their direct behavior and in the moment and their behavior takes place. If they block or impede federal authorities, create civil unrest through violent, unlawful activity, arrest them immediately.
I I disagree entirely. You have no First Amendment right to call for the overthrow of the United States government. There is no First Amendment protection for doing so.
Yeah. So here's the tricky thing. If you say that you want to overthrow the U.S. government,
the word is violent overthrow.
If you say you want to overthrow the U.S. government, violently overthrow, yes, you can be arrested for that. The problem is if that, like, I say it and Joe's on the show with me, how do you arrest Joe for something that I say? Right? That's the one where you have to work.
It's not just a show though. Like they're literally in groups doing activities, planning, and like all of this is proof of a conspiracy. Like just because one member says it who's elected as the spokesperson, that is a lot like saying, oh well, like I guess the guy who beheaded the guy on the Al Qaeda video is bad, but we can't really get the rest of them in the video, can we?
No, you're oversimplifying. Here's the problem. When a U.S. citizen does it, he has constitutional protections. Okay, so you got to work past that, right? And it's not to say you can't do it. It just takes work, right? You got to put in the fucking work to be able to then shoot these people as they deserve, right? And so, because legal and moral are two separate things a lot of times, right? People can do immoral things and are legally protected to do it. The problem is that, we have this pesky thing called the Constitution, right? And we have to use a solution that works with both, our framework of justice that all three of us absolutely agree on, but one that does it within the framework of the Constitution as well. And that's the tough part, as far as and that's where the whole RICO kind of thing would come in. You would have to make Antifa an illegal organization, and just in membership then at that point, or association with that group, allows you to then go after them. That's my understanding for somebody who doesn't have a law degree.
I mean, law degree, fine. I'm telling you that if you do that, we will fail. This will peter out. They will come back even stronger.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Watcher. I'm just kind of this is devil's advocacy here, right? How do you do it without breaking the Constitution?
How did we do it in the 60s and 70s?
We didn't do it in the 60s and 70s. That's why we still have it around today.
Where we are today.
Days of Thunder, man. We didn't finish the job. We absolutely went after them.
Well, I mean, nobody's saying that we didn't, but we went after them for the crimes they committed, not for like the things that they said.
Right, but when the things that they are saying are, we are plotting to violently overthrow both local and federal governments, you can go after those things because those are illegal things. You can't say those things.
Well, but see, that's just it, right? You got to be able to say this person said it on this day. You got to have like direct, and now you can get a lot of that with, electronic communications and things like that. But then you have to also connect them saying that to the intent to actually either cause somebody to act or thereby having an action as well. They could easily say,
2385 does not require an overt act. 2385 is titled advocating the violent overthrow of the United States. Doesn't mean you took any step. It just said, hey, you know what? I think we should do this. That is illegal behavior in and of itself.
It's a lot like if you steal information that you intend to sell, whether you sell it or not, you're still getting charged under the Espionage Act.
Which, by the way, Barack Obama was famous for using against reporters.
Right.
I want to point something out. Juan Gringo has given me the opportunity to correct an egregious error. When I called out the other two for not making a Bible study, Juan Gringo did not make the Bible study this week either. So thanks, Juan, for raising your head up and reminding me you didn't make it.
See, he's doing it because he feels guilty. Okay, so let me ask you this then, Watcher. If you've got Antifa guy who you can not put any actual words to because he's never come out publicly and said anything, and you can't go through his other information and find anything, then how do you put that guy in jail? He's a member of Antifa.
Why can you not go after his other information?
No. You go at
just like a gang.
That's right. And so you look through his stuff, and he never says anything. He's smart enough not to actually, verbalize these things.
So how do you know he's a member in the first place? You start from there.
It's association. It's just a general association. He could even dress as Antifa in the, in a crowd, right? Oh, well, the crowd was saying, well, can you prove that he was saying it, right? See, that's the problem with these types of things, right? It's like, you're going to get some shifty fucking lawyer that will always be able to work the system. So that's why I say, if you have some sort of a designation of any kind of Antifa organization as a criminal organization, just membership alone of that organization then becomes illegal. So then you don't have to go after something they say, you go after the association, just like you do with the mafia in a RICO case.
Or
in
just
the
like
Michigan
we do.
kidnapping case, those who were convicted were all convicted of gang membership.
Or just like we do with ISIS, since this is, once again, an internationally founded, funded, directed, and trained terrorist organization.
I would love for them to do that. I don't think they're going to do that, because then
it's literally a slam dunk. There are 3 qualifications for doing it. They have to be foreign funded. They have to be engaged in terrorist activity, and they have to be taking foreign direction. That's it.
Joe,
watch Andrew's video about it last night. He breaks it down pretty thoroughly.
Right, but even still, you don't lose your constitutional protections if you're a U.S. citizen in the United States doing these things. They still have to arrest you. If you don't shoot at them, then they can't shoot you. You know what I mean?
You, in the same way that people who are here working for ISIS are not protected by many of the things that you would assume the Constitution protects, neither would they be.
That didn't make any sense to me. Say that again.
How do I put this? Just being associated with these groups is then enough for intelligence agencies to dig into your anus with a spoon.
Yeah, but that's not the same as arrest, right?
Yeah, that's right. Right. It's exactly right.
I believe these people have been living out in the open for 10 years. You will absolutely find arrestable material if you search for it.
No, I agree, but I want to point something out, as I frequently do, and everyone gets mad at me for it. We shouldn't be cheering that on, because the shoe will inevitably be on the other foot, right? And they're going to use whatever tools of the intelligence state that are being used in Antifa, they're going to use against you.
They did that.
Okay, you're right.
I mean, against January 6th, there was some of that against January 6th people. I totally agree, but I also don't think this is where you find the kind of there are dirty tricks that I'm willing to do, and then there's things that I'm not willing to do, and the things that they did against January 6th people are not. I don't think that's okay.
Let me point this out. Everyone say, was the shorty on the other foot? Yes, but not at the same extent that we're advocating going for against Antifa. So they did a lot that they shouldn't have done, but they could have been much worse, right? And if we then take this to the 10th degree, they're going to take it to the 11th and 12th. And all you're doing is kicking the can of civil conflict down the road.
Yeah.
I don't know there's a right answer. We have to always come down on that the side of the silly piece of paper written over 250 years ago.
And that's why it comes back to, you got to go after Antifa, but you have to do it in a way that protects the Constitution, not shreds it. But that being said, I think there are a lot of tools that we can use. I mean, to go after it. So it's like. I don't disagree in theory with what you're saying, Watcher. I just don't know how they do it yet. And the one thing that I'm not tolerant for is just words with no deeds attached. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm sorry to disagree here. I'm sorry that I am going to be the one who I'm not saying go after them, destroy the Constitution. I'm not saying any of that. I am saying I think you were wrong in that the rules we already have on the books do not, in fact, protect this activity. In fact, I don't believe we've ever made it actually legal to be a communist and a declared communist in America. We just
It's
simply
actually
stopped
true.
enforcing
You're
laws.
100% right on that. Membership in the Communist Party of USA is still technically illegal.
And so
it
all we have to do
technically
is
bars you from holding any sort of office within the United States.
And so all we have to then do is then recognize that the Communist Party of the USA fractured after that so as not to be directly involved in the actual exact name Communist Party USA and say, literally, if you are espousing a communist revolution of America, this applies to you, which it clearly does.
Yeah, so that's just it, right? Is that you got to go through the legal, hurdles in order to get to that, right? So as long as you go through all the constitutional checkpoints to get to the point where you can legally,
it comes all the way down to this. Judges. It's always going to come down to activist judges. I can charge whatever I want and I can make whatever arrests I want. But if they won't stick when they get before a magistrate or U.S. district judge, it does me no good.
I hate to say this, but if we have no way to do that, then we are bound for conflict, regardless of what path we take.
Yes, that's what I just said. All your suggestion will do is kick the can down the road because none of these people will actually end up being prosecuted, and it will cause a backlash on the other side. You are 100% right. Conflict is the only other option. Yes.
Watcher, let's settle this with let's be honest, the opinion of an avowed expert here. The guy. Let's go to the link I just put at the bottom of the private chat. Please.
Oh God.
This is. When you have an opinion of an expert, you might as well just kind of go with this. Terrorism expert here. You cannot designate an idea as a.
You have to tell everyone you're a terrorism expert. You're not. Carry on.
Oh wait, hold a second, Joe. Did I not say who this is? Oh, this is Malcolm Nance.
Oh, this is also an immediate lie.
They come in threes. Stand by.
Coming from the north.
This is an immediate lie. What? This needs to be utterly dismantled.
Let me read his lies, and then you can attack them, Watcher. My joke is not any fun if you don't let me tell it first. There is no organization called Antifa. There is no leadership or funding, Pat. There's no membership. There's also no law in America to charge terrorism.
No. He said there's no law in American. Why don't you people speak American?
American. Ask Luigi. What is he doing? Setting the stage to designate any American as a terrorist, and that is fascism.
First of all, that's
Hashtag
not
release the Epstein files. I know it's not Joe, but gentlemen,
also, thing you guys literally just got done doing.
Hold on, I'll be right back.
Watcher, let's focus not on our let's call them microscopic disagreements on this issue, and let's focus on stupid motherfuckers like this for a second, shall we?
This is a common tactic. It means that he's likely a member of the group. This is not true. All terrorist networks are ideas. They're people who act on ideas. That's what it is. What you mean is they're decentralized, and many cartels and terrorist networks are decentralized. That's what a cell network is. We have been defeating cell networks using a terrorist law framework for a very long time. This is this claptrap will no longer be tolerated and doesn't have to be. This is not a legal argument. This doesn't stand anywhere. The only reason it's been allowed to continue is because nobody who actually had the wheels of power designated them a terrorist group. Bill Barr was handed it and told to do so, and then slow walked it for 3.5 years because he was a controlled opposition piece of shit. There is an organization called Antifa. There are multiple chapters that have not only 501c3s organized that literally say Antifa, they sell fucking merch, you utter dumb piece of shit. What they say when they mean there's no leaders is they even say in their own handbook, of course there's leaders. Everything needs leaders. Like, you literally can't have a family without a leader. You can't have 3 people trying to do a project without one person taking a leadership role. There are always leaders. What they mean is that if you tell people who your leaders are, they will target them because they are terrorist network leaders. And so instead they say, oh, well, we have no leaders, right up until you get inside the group chats. There's no membership. Rose City Antifa on their own website fully admits that not only is there a membership program, they have deep background checks and vetting processes. And if you're not radical or violent enough, you can't come to the meetings. There's no law in America to charge terrorism. Utterly get fucked. Ask Luigi. Yes, we know that you utter dipshit communists have control of the judicial branches.
So, I mean, there may not be any organizations called Antifa that are 501c3s, but there are groups like the Alliance for Global Justice, which funds nonviolent anti-fascist protests, refuse fascism, defends Antifa's tactics, and but denies formal ties. Of course they do, because this is how a decentralized network works. Long Haul, Slingshot Collective Project, 501c3, publishes anti-fascist materials. In 2018, revenues of $62,000, ideologically supportive, but not named Antifa. So you get the point. It's like they're smart enough not to say, hey, we're Antifa over here, right?
But that's not even true, because there are multiple Antifa Facebook and Twitter accounts.
No, I was talking specifically about 501c3s. Because
okay, so they might not be a 50. No, actually, they might not be a 501.
I can't hear you again, Launcher.
Yeah, your audio. Correct.
Okay, maybe I said the wrong thing with 501. They have literal not state nonprofits set up. I guess 501 is the federal one. They have state nonprofits set up under their names legally.
Yeah, I think that's probably correct. So, like, for instance, like Rose City Antifa, right? It's not like part of a direct linkage chapter of a larger national organization. It's a local affinity group. It's self-identifying, but absolutely it's connected. And if their connection literally may be getting a check from time to time from a benefactor. And it may also be like a direct contact via social media to other chapters and other cities and states and things like that. But it is still connected. It is all one kind of weird shifting ecosystem.
Their network of trainers that they send around the country in order to teach their classes. Yeah. All of
and off to Cuba.
Conference calls that they hold. I want to point something out here, though. Nance's statement is disingenuous in the fact they said there's no terrorism charge. It was a state judge that dismissed a state terrorism charge. We haven't gotten to the federal trial yet. Luigi will be charged federally with terrorism, almost guaranteed, now that the state dismissed it.
Augustus Tiberius for 1999 says, Andrew from Legal Mindset, or just Legal Mindset, as we like to call Andrew, has a video explaining the designated Antifa as a foreign terror organization and not a domestic terror. I know. Yes. I haven't had a chance to watch that video yet.
It goes literally legally point by point.
Yeah.
He also goes through what that actually means as far as how they no longer have a lot of legal protections the second they're designated an FTO. Like, they can't bank anymore. Like, and that's the individual members. And this is something where you can go back and say, can we prove you were associated in data that's from the last 10 years? And can we prove that data has a likelihood to continue to be associatively true now? Guess what, motherfucker? No more bank for you.
Yeah, here's the thing too, right? Like the National Lawyers Guild Foundation provides legal aid to activists, including Antifa-aligned groups and things like that. These are the kind of groups that once you can just provide any kind of direct financial linkage between, say, a member of Antifa and that group, then you can literally go after that group. So literally, they could give every one of these organizations a colonoscopy legally.
Again, I'm gonna disagree slightly with you, Watcher, and say we should not be advocating debanking. We were very, very angry when it happened on our side. We can't cheer on deep state tools, hold on, when they're being used against our enemies if we don't want them used against us.
I was angry about people getting debanked for having a political opinion. I have no qualms with people getting debanked for being terrorists. We haven't for decades.
They called
not
your
allowed
political
terrorists.
opinion terrorism.
They're not going to stop. Literally, being kind to them now will not make them stop. It will never make them stop.
Well, here's the thing.
I'm gonna use a quote here that's vitally important. And someone in the chat will get bonus points for identifying where the quote is from and who said it. When fighting monsters, one must be very careful not to become worse than the monster you are fighting.
Yeah, I recognize the quote,
but we can prove that they've actually done terrorism, unlike us. So do we just drop all the no financing terrorism things everywhere then?
I hear. So here's how I think.
There are other things we could do. We can put them in prison, and you don't get to use a bank while you're in prison. Pretty simple.
Well, okay, but I meant what I said. Do we just drop all the other terrorists can't do financing then? Because we that is just a generalized law. If we prove you do terrorism, you can't finance anymore.
So here's you guys both have very good points here, and so I want to kind of try to parse it right to find a middle ground. And that is that if you do terrorist acts, if you haven't been convicted of a crime, then you shouldn't be punished in almost any form, right? Outside of if they can arrest you and hold you, then you and then charge you, then they can do that, right?
Go ahead and rip up the Constitution, right?
No, but what I'm saying is that like what I think Watcher is going after is legal entities that are Antifa, that are not individuals, right?
Exactly.
And so whether it's a trust or a corporation or a 501c3 or some state kind of organization that owns money, it might have like $1 million in the bank, right, or something like that.
Where it would go after individuals is those who have funded it.
Right. So if you can prove that there is a legal entity called Antifa in, say, the state of Texas or whatever, there has to be a way to go after that organization if you prove that they're terrorists, right? But I think like Joe would agree, there has to be a due process to go through it. You can't just say, okay, magically we're going to do it, because they're in America. If it's a foreign terror organization outside the U.S., then the gloves are off, because they're enemies of the U.S. But anytime it's like domestic enemies, you can't just like go Al Qaeda drone them in the middle of the night kind of thing without a warrant or anything like that. As much as I would like to, let me be honest.
I never said that, to be clear.
I know you didn't, but I said that. So
I literally just said we start treating them like any other foreign terrorist organization because they meet it by every definition we have.
But let me just say this, Watcher: if an Al Qaeda chapter didn't call itself Al Qaeda, but it was based in Kentucky, right? They wouldn't be able to do
Oh, they absolutely would. We have multiple different things within the terrorist law that say that if you're a fraction or an offshoot, and we can prove by the network that you're a fraction or an offshoot of something, you immediately have the exact same laws applied to you.
Okay, do you think that they can hold on? I actually have a response to this. Do you think, Watcher, that they have known and can prove that CARE is related to and directly funds terrorist activities in the Middle East? I think the answer is yes, right? Do you agree that the answer is yes?
Yes. And
okay, so then why is CARE still? That's right, because they are actually following the Constitution. They have to do it legally. They can't just middle of the night, erase them from existence kind of operations the way they can foreign terror.
I would suggest that it's because the political will has not yet come forward. I don't think it has anything more to do with than that.
But the problem is when you have we have a U.S. legal entity with U.S. citizens, you can't just treat them like they're a bunch of Somalis.
You're mistaking what I'm saying. I'm not saying that we're just going to go after them. I'm saying nobody has investigated it yet. The political will has not arisen to investigate them. And if they investigated them, they would find those ties, and then it would happen.
I think that they have investigated it. I agree with you. The political will isn't there, but at the same time, I also don't think the legal framework has been fleshed out. It's a tough nut, right, to crack, and so I don't think there's been the political will to crack it, legally speaking. Hey, so anyway, I'm gonna check out Andrew's video. I'm sure I'll get smarter on it after I do that. But
may I mention my points on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
One, the laser ham nailed how you actually make this happen. They wear the same clothes, they use the same ideology. You simply charge them with gang membership. The vice lords and the gangster disciples don't have membership cards and membership lists, yet people are charged with being members of them every single day. And two, you either believe that the Constitution of the United States is a divinely inspired document that should guide our government, or you do not. There is no middle position. That's it.
That's the tweet. Yeah, no, I'm with you there, Joe. I agree with you.
And listen, everyone who talks about Obama drone striking 2 American citizens, that's probably the least thing I have a problem with of his, because they were combatants in an active combat zone.
Yeah,
it's not like they were in Chicago, right?
With other enemy combatants.
Yeah, they were actually on the field of battle in a foreign land. I don't actually have a problem with that.
That being said, I know a lot of conservatives do have a problem with that, but that's probably, like I think you can argue the point.
Egregious thing Barack Obama did.
So the gang affiliation thing there, I'm just I agree with you, Joe. I think, but there's got to be some designation of the organization, right? I can't remember.
By the way, Laserham, what you list there is also the definition of a enemy combatant in the law of war. So.
I don't disagree with anything you said, Joe. Apart from this isn't even disagreeing. I feel that this has to be taken into account, and there's 2 parts to this. Part 1 is, has the way we have combated gangs made them less strong or more strong? Are there more or less gangs, and are they more or less powerful?
That's not an argument.
Okay.
I mean,
the second part of this is we either have definitions for terrorist groups that apply, or we don't, and we should scrap all of our terrorist legislation.
So apply them and charge them with being a terrorist. Don't add on punishments that aren't in the law.
Where have I said to add on any
not
punishment?
In the law.
It is, though. That's literally in our terrorism laws.
But you're talking about an organization, not an individual.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, except for the people who fund terrorism. Yeah, well, except for the people who fund terrorism. We do, in fact, debank those individuals all the time. We do it regularly. We've done it for over 40 years.
I don't know that we debank them. We seize their accounts and they seize their funds. Yeah, but I don't know that there is a federal kind of saying you can no longer
them to open new banks.
But that's up to the banks. That's up to banks, though.
I'll check it. I do not believe it is. I believe it's literally written that you cannot do business with a person.
We don't have laws that direct companies as to what they can and cannot do for an individual. We do have laws of what we can do after the fact.
Yeah.
It's a fine line, I'll agree. But we need to stay within the lines rather than deviating because it's against people we don't like. And then we get mad when they use it against us.
Sorry, those who are wondering, they're baby quail. They'll be out of here by tomorrow.
All right, let's move on. We've got other good stuff in this. So we saw the expert, the expert opinion. Just real quick, Watcher.
That's a horrible picture of him, by the way.
I know. Well, that's what color they used it. The tweet above Malcolm's tweet. This is the one thing that gives me hope in this whole thing, that the right people potentially are on this case, right? When you tell me this guy's on the case, then I will tell you that, okay, all right, this is a guy I trust, right? So this is Joe Kent saying, thank you, President Trump. Let's get to work. And then, by the way, if you didn't know, Joe Kent is the director of the National Counterterrorism Center. So, You know, he actually has the job to go after somebody who has been labeled a terrorist. Now, that being said, he's not saying he's going after them because, you know, he's got the designation, but he's supporting the president in this. So we've got good people on the case.
Yeah, I think I heard it said best. I don't even remember who said it. Just suffice to say that they're a much scarier individual than me. And they said, I'm considered a fairly lethal and scary individual in my trade, and men like Joe Kent are the kind of people I'm terrified of.
Oh, wait a second. Was that Sean Ryan said that?
I think it might have been.
I think it was. Can I just say that the best memes on the internet of the last, say, 48 hours have all been Terry Schlapperd memes?
Finding out that Terry plays 40K was that was an interesting way for that to be revealed.
Joe, have you seen him double fisting mugs of eggnog? That was pretty fun.
Well, I'm sure people have tagged Joe in those 1,000 times, unfortunately. I could tell from the look on his face.
All right. Let's move on. Now we can go to the designation of Antifa by the Netherlands. Something I was not expecting today.
Yeah.
Let's see.
The
Breaking.
Netherlands practically captured by Antifa.
Right.
Yeah.
And they still went ahead and called it that.
Well, but if we remember correctly, the president, after the Fall the Farm protest, they actually got a conservative guy voted in as the prime minister or the president or whatever.
That. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so they have a fairly base Dutchman, as far as base Dutchmen go, as their chief executive. So breaking now, the Netherlands Parliament just voted to designate Antifa as a terrorist organization following President Trump's lead. Every country in Western Europe should follow suit ASAP. And just to kind of show you that not to be left behind, move to the next tweet.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I thought you meant like the next one down. Let me.
And Viktor Orban in Hungary has done the same thing.
And that's probably the least surprising one.
Yeah, that is the least surprising.
Here's the thing. Of all of the countries in the world that knows what they're talking about in this, it's Poland. Because first they were taken over by the fascists, and then they were taken over by the communists.
Yeah.
Poland and Hungary, both. Right?
If I remember correctly, both are illegal in Poland,
and Hungary. Both of them had this same chain of events in life. Fascists, then communists. So I'm going to listen to their lead. I meant to lead with Hungary, not Poland, but
yeah,
they understand how it is. And what's funny is calling Hungary the West. Hungary was never considered the West until relatively recently.
Yeah. Well, it's only a comparison to the Far East that Hungary is the West. And so we were talking about, like, well, specifically, Joe mentioned the gang designation and all that kind of stuff, right? Let me ask you this, Joe. Looking at this next piece of video, what comes to mind? Does gang headquarters jump to mind?
Oh. This is good.
Yeah, this is actually pretty interesting.
Light out your fucking face now. Fuck off.
Very threatening.
I don't know. Keep going. Have a look around.
There's
a place there. What's behind that?
By the way, this is a man.
Here's part of it.
I could smell.
Yeah, I was going to say, having spoken from experience, they do this everywhere, by the way. Warehouses are one of their favorite places, like abandoned warehouses are one of their favorite places to set up.
I hear a word you're speaking.
Part of the gym's in there.
Oh, okay. Let me silence the audio and get rid of the... There we go. They really, really like this all over the place. They do this in America, too. Abandoned warehouses are kind of their best shot, especially when they can find a compliant building manager or building owner. Yeah, it's pretty fucking disgusting. And additionally, most of these places that they take over like this are not set up for living in at all. Like they're set up to have been business or school or places like that. So they don't have showers or any of the things you need to actually stay clean. They all live like fucking homeless. It's rancid.
Yeah. These people are, well, does it surprise you at all? Because it doesn't surprise me.
No. Having met them, no.
And so, they're an idea, according to Malcolm Nance. Now, but here's proof that they're real. But if this is Manchester, so if you need proof about the reality in America, go to the next clip.
Let me show people some video of you right in the middle of Antifa. This is not First Amendment rights. They are attacking you. They end up coming in here in a moment and they'll start punching you. And Andy, no, as we watch this video, Democrats want to tell us Antifa doesn't exist. They just punched you in the face here.
Yeah, not only did they punch me on the face and head, they were wearing gloves that were reinforced with fiberglass so that my brain bled and I was hospitalized and nearly died. So I would like to tell that story to the Democrats. I would like to tell them about the stories of people who have been killed by Antifa, like Aaron Danielson in Portland, Oregon in 2020, who was a Trump supporter who was assassinated by an Antifa gunman who left behind a manifesto and made references to Antifa, very similar to Antifa references, by the way, on the rifle cartridges that were found near the Charlie Kirk assassination site.
Let me show people some video of you right in the middle of Antifa.
It's not stopping. Hold on.
So Andy knows better than most people. Andy knows better than most people just how real Antifa is. I mean, we've seen video of them countless times. When I went to go, it wasn't like I couldn't find pictures of this imaginary group that doesn't exist. I literally was spoiled for choice when it came to pictures for the thumbnail today.
Boy, people seem to have a whole lot of tattoos of the logo and branding of this imaginary group that doesn't exist.
And what's crazy is for a group that doesn't exist, they have some pretty high-placed funding sources. White House opened this week by declaring the radical left and its dark money NGO network in the wake of Charlie Kirk's political assassination. President Trump and senior officials are zeroing in on George Soros' Open Society Foundation's empire, which they say was sown years of chaos nationwide, with Trump even hinting at potential RICO charges. Now, RICO going after Open Society actually makes a lot of sense, especially if you can tie any of their money to illegal activities. Demonstrations association with the BLM type demonstrations between May to August of 2020. That's this map right here. If you go down, this is a great, because most people don't realize it was this widespread.
Yes. Yeah. Every single time I talk to a normie friend and I try and tell them why 2020, first of all, they don't know it was this widespread and they don't know how long it lasted because they thought it was like 2 weeks and then it was over. It lasted for almost 2 years.
Well, the Summer of Love kind of petered out in August,
and then a bunch of those collectives, a bunch of those street takeovers stayed live.
They kind of keep coming back in a lot of specifically like places like Portland and Seattle and Los Angeles and New York and Chicago and various other kind of hotbeds. You can see the kind of the larger the splatter on the splatter chart here, the larger kind of places. You've got Portland and Seattle are the two largest here. With a lot of other large ones around Chicago. You've got Louisville actually had a lot of activity during that period of time too. Bigger actually than a lot of other places, oddly enough. Let's see. The new report from Capital Research Center, a think tank tracking foundations, charities, and other nonprofits, has revealed the Open Society Foundation, now run by George's ultra-leftist radical son Alexander, has funneled over $80 million into groups linked to terror and extremist violence. The CRC investigative research Ryan Morrow published the bombshell report titled "Soros Open Society Gave $80 million to Pro-Terror Groups." This may be a breakthrough in evidence the Trump needs to prosecute the Open Society Foundation under RICO. He stated, since 2016, Soros's OSF, now run by his son Alexander, has poured $80 million into groups tied to terrorism and extremist violence. This evidence is stark. The Open Society sent millions of dollars to U.S.-based organizations that engage in direct actions that the FBI defines as domestic terrorism. These groups include the Center for Third World Organizing and its militant partner, Ruckus Society, which trained activists in property damage and sabotage during the 2020 riots, and the Sunrise Movement, which endorsed Antifa-linked Stop Cop City campaign, in which activists currently face over 40 domestic terrorism charges and 60 racketeering indictments. Let's see. The Open Society awarded $18 million to the Movement for Black Lives, a group that co-authored the radical guide that glorifies Hamas's October 7th massacre and instructs activists to use false IDs, blockades, and economic disruptions. Open Society has funneled more than $2.3 million to Al-Haq, a non-governmental organization based in the West Bank and long accused of ties to the PLO. Or the PLFP, which is the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, which the European Union and the United States designated as a foreign terror organization. Grants to Al-Haq between 2016 and 2023 ranged from $400,000 in general support to $800,000 institutional award. In September, I know we probably did it with the knowledge and approval of USAID. In September 2025, the U.S. State Department sanctioned Al-Haq, citing its role in advancing campaigns that directly engaged in international criminal courts' illegitimate targeting of Israel. This means Soros Foundation has not only financed extremist groups within the United States, but also funneled millions abroad to entities now formally sanctioned by the Washington. Morrow joined Glenn Beck to discuss. So let's. I think this is the. All right, this is a 10-minute clip. I don't want to play that one, but
yeah, there's a $5 chat that I want to acknowledge because it's either a person who doesn't know or one of the most brilliant trolls ever.
Carolyn Boroshenko is the most credible source in the far left. Well, first of all,
nope. Read the rest.
She's been going undercover in these meetings for years. Nobody knows more. Well, the reason why she's going undercover is because she's a fucking member.
Yep.
God love Carolyn. You know, I don't wish ill on any man, woman, child, or dog. But Carolyn is a lefty who wants to be Antifa and she wants to be all these things, but they keep being mean to her. And because she goes and stabs them in the back, and so stabbing them in the back means coming out and telling all of her social media people, a lot of which are right wingers, because they love the fact that she's talking shit about other leftists.
Well, no. You miss why she has right wing followers, and you missed the beginning of this saga. Carolyn was one of the.
It was knitting. She was like a James. It was all about knitting.
No, she was one of the James Lindsay types. She tried to glom onto that kind of group. The whole, like, I forget what you call that. What they called themselves in the beginning. The whole, like, disaffected left, intellectual, dark, whatever the heck they called that. Doesn't matter.
The intellectual dark web.
The intellectual dark web. Thank you. So she tried to glom onto that. They rebuffed her. So she tried to get into a bunch of right wing circles, and she actually did have some traction there, and then she got majorly exposed as a horrible fucking person for a bunch of psychotic manipulative behaviors that she was doing, and so she got kicked out of right-wing circles in mass, and she still has some of those followers because they watch her fall because it's hilarious. It's not that's what that is.
Do you know about how she originally came to fame, right?
Running for governor?
Yes.
No, so she joined a knitting group. Like, literally, she wanted some sort of a knitting kind of, that's what she was interested in doing, right? And and the whole point was like, I'm knitting this and I'm sharing this and sharing techniques and, you know, giving advice and all this kind of stuff about fucking knitting. Well, she said that essentially it was knitting, but it went like far left, right? And like, then it was like just absolutely dog shit left wingers in there, and they basically went after her because she didn't toe the line.
MetaGuide makes a good point. He's a horrible person that doesn't make
Yes.
what he's saying untrue.
That's true. But I guess
because she's actually like a pathological liar. But
I guess the point is the right wing people like her because she's stabbing the left in the back, and so we're here for it. So
yeah.
Anyway, let's see. All right, play this Stephen Miller clip here at the bottom. It's a 1 minute and 36 seconds. Good.
Ian Moore.
Now that's 10 minute Glenn Beckman. It's under the link. That one.
Which is that we have a nice strategy to go after the left-wing organizations that are promoting violence in this country. And I will write those words onto my heart and I will carry them out. If people ask me, what emotions I'm feeling right now, it's just something people say. I mean, you kind of know the answer. There's incredible sadness, but there's incredible anger. And the thing about anger is that unfocused anger or blind rage is not a productive emotion.
Right.
But focused anger, righteous anger, directed for a just cause is one of the most important agents of change in human history.
Say again, Joe?
Yeah, sorry, Joe. That's
he read that off of my Twitter page. Literally, that's a quote. Anyway.
Yeah. No, it's funny. It's just funny because this is literally an argument I had with my father years ago. Because my dad's one of those like, oh, you can't live with anger, you have to just let it go. And I was like, no, actually there is some anger that, like, we have anger for a reason. Anger is the emotion we use to change the world.
Righteous anger ended human sacrifice by the Aztecs and the Mayans.
You're going to channel all of the anger that we have over the organized campaign that led to this assassination to uproot and dismantle these terrorist networks. So let me explain a little bit what that means. So,
Got 30 seconds, so be quick, Stephen.
The organized doxing campaigns, the organized riots, the organized street violence, the organized campaigns of dehumanization, vilification, posting people's addresses, combining that with messaging that's designed to trigger and incite violence, and the actual organized cells that carry out and facilitate the violence, it is a vast domestic terror movement. And with God as my witness, we are going to use every resource we have at the Department of Justice, Homeland Security, and throughout this government to identify, disrupt, dismantle, and destroy these networks and make America safe again for the American people. It will happen, and we will do it in Charlie's name.
I'm here for it.
Thrice said and done.
All right. That's kind of all I got on that. Guys, it is 2 hours 13 minutes. Are you guys wanting to talk about China, or do you guys want to call it?
No, we can talk about China another day.
Yeah, because I feel like fucking dog shit. So
I think that everyone should just be aware that China is making moves as we are focused internally. That's the biggest thing. That's what all of our stories boil down to.
We'll do the we'll do the TLDR version of the China thing here. So Trump halts $400 million in Taiwan military aid, post reports. All right. So here's my takeaway from that, guys. We don't need to be paying for any of Taiwan's military. If Taiwan thinks it's important for them to have a military that could resist China, we should be there to sell them everything they want to buy. But we shouldn't be paying for it. They're not paying into the kitty, so they don't get anything for free. Now, we may give them a discount.
Yeah. As I have long said, polling on the island makes it unclear if the population would even fight. So why are we paying them?
The other one, we talked about this the other day, but there's more developments about the Coast Guard fleet that was intercepted in restricted waters. You want to play this video real quick?
I like those shirts.
Hey, they're high vis. They're not going to get run over while they're on the deck.
That's right. Yeah, the Chinese vessels can't. I tell you what, the Taiwanese Coast Guard, I think, play around. They don't fuck around as much as the Filipino ones.
They've got a lot nicer and newer ships. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, the Taiwanese can afford better gear and equipment rather than having to resort to hand-me-downs like the Filipinos do, and they put them to good use. If you notice the size difference between the China Coast Guard ships and the Taiwan Coast Guard cutters, they're legitimately much larger ships. So,
puppies, fun.
Let's see, and then of course, in response to some of the stuff we talked about the other day, the Philippines are holding missiles drills in the South China Sea, and of course, China's all pissed off about it. So,
what prompted that incident up above it's important to mention. Those China Coast Guard ships approached Kinmen Island with no AIS on, with nothing identifying themselves, no light. We're moving under cover of darkness. That's preparation and that's planning, and Taiwan gave a strong response as they should. So.
All right. Before we wrap it up, let me get I think there was a couple super chats that I didn't get to. Let's see. Lance Corporal Veteran, I think. Lance Corporal Veteran for $5 says, we always knew the Patriot Act would finally come home to roost. Thankfully, it's pointed at objectively at actual domestic enemy. I mean, if it's the law, you can use it. I don't like the law, but that doesn't mean I say if you've got a law and it's legally passed, then use it. If they want to challenge it on constitutional grounds, that's up to their lawyers to do. Lance Corporal Veteran for $5. Supposedly, it's believed the end goal of communist is anarchism, but the inherent dictatorship in communism will never let it happen. The problem is people. People can't. If you have ants, you don't need a government because then they just kind of follow the programming, right? It's like internal programming. You don't need government. It's because the problem is humans don't behave like ants. Well, humans are individualistic creatures, social creatures that have their own motivations, and they will never. That's why communism will never work with human beings.
And what's funny is what you say is so deep that it's literally the reason why communists rejected genetics and caused some of their worst famines, is because they rejected the science of genetics, because literally the science of genetics disproves communism. Humans are each individually competing to pass on our genes. Ants, only one individual in the entire hive passes on their genes. That's why ants are, in their very genetic code, written to be a fully cooperative species, whereas we are written to be a semi-cooperative species.
Oh, most of the humans I run into aren't very cooperative. Lance Corporal Veteran for $2. You can either have guardrails or tie your hands. I'm not quite sure what that was in reference to. And Guyvermectin says $2 for nothing. Appreciate you, brother.
Oh, that was about the Constitution. I'm sorry, I'm not willing to set it aside.
Yeah,
otherwise,
I
what are
mean,
you fighting for?
Yeah, see, that's just it, right? Like, as much as emotionally inside my inner authoritarian wants to come out and just be absolutely like fascistic to these people, because of course I'm a good guy. But the problem is once you start doing that, you stop being a good guy, right? Because you can't the ends don't justify the means ever.
As Nietzsche said, when fighting monsters, you must take care to not become worse than the monster you claim to fight.
When you look into the abyss will
stare into the abyss long enough, the abyss stares back at you. Absolutely.
See, you didn't think I could be all like smarty pants like that, did you, Joe?
Yeah, I did, actually.
All right, Joe, let's look at the weekend. What do you think? We got Charlie's Memorial on Sunday. I'll check that out for sure. Where do you think things are heading?
I believe the left is going to go absolutely insane, especially if we designate Antifa as a terrorist group. You really have to be paying attention for the domestic issues, right? And seeing what's going on. I want to point something out, that the initial event in Pennsylvania, where the 3 officers were killed and 5 others wounded, that was initially everyone thought perhaps there was some cartel activity, including me, because of the weird statements of the Mexican consulate in the middle of it. But it turns out that it was a domestic violence situation where a man was seen with a AR-15 with a suppressor at a house, and the police went to go and get him, and he ambushed them and was able to kill 3 and wound 5. There's a reason for that. So the news media had been dominated by left-wing violence. All of a sudden, we've got a white male with a suppressed AR ambushing the police. I don't believe in coincidences that are so convenient. So stay tuned.
Yeah.
It's going to get interesting.
Yeah. Watcher.
Yeah. I think that regardless of the way the government reacts, there's a whole lot of little leftist froggies, as I've been saying, that are feeling nervous and feeling like now is the time to jump. There's this whole the whole death before detransition thing. There are too many of these memetics inside these communities that lead me to believe that the second we started pushback is the second they started their desperate last stand plans. So keep your head on a swivel, peeps. I personally am not making any public trips that don't need to be made.
Yeah, stay close to home, stay close to family, stay close to people that you know have got your back. You know, I will leave you guys with this thought over the weekend. So, the House breaking. The House votes 310 to 58 to condemn Charlie Kirk's assassination, honor his legacy, and denounce political violence. 58 Democrats voted against this.
Oh, and 30.
How do you vote against this?
Oh, again, and 30 some odd abstained to even vote.
How on earth do you vote against that?
Because they're for political violence.
Bush voted against
all you
it.
have to do is say, yeah, murdering him was bad. That's literally all this says.
But they don't. They do not think it is. That's
Jasmine Crockett voted against it. I'm looking at the list here. See people I recognize. A lot of Hispanic names on here, oddly enough.
Sheila Jackson Lee.
Yeah, Rashida Tlaib.
Pramila Jayapal.
Ro Kahana.
Yeah.
He's usually fairly
he
even keeled.
No, he
I
is
mean,
not.
Compared to like
Marxist.
Rashida Tlaib. Oh, they're all Marxist, Joe. Come on, there's nobody in the modern Democratic Party that isn't a Marxist.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Ilhan Omar, Ayanna Pressley, Jamie Raskin.
Or as those of us in the purebloods know her as, Alex.
Yeah. As she was known for most of her life until it was convenient to be Alexandria or Sandy.
Jamie Raskin. So yeah, it's these people are all dirtbags. Anyway, yeah. So just like I think I'll just echo what the guy said. Kind of stay close to home. Stay around people you trust. And it's just kind of until things kind of clarify and settle down. I would think that's fairly good advice overall. And if God forbid you got to travel or whatever. Like we were saying after Irina got stabbed on the subway train, keep your head up, keep your eyes on the crowd, back to the wall, keep doors in visual. Carry, even if you can't carry, you should carry. If you're flying on an airplane, I get it, you can't carry it on an airplane, but. I mean, so just there are other ways to protect yourself. So just, make sure you just engage actively in your own personal security.
Yeah. If you're on an airplane, you should have a Zebra F702 pen on you.
Yeah, people are pointing out a good thing. Sheila Jackson Lee's dead.
Can't hear you.
Chat's pointing out that Sheila Jackson Lee is she's dead.
When did she die?
Who?
Yeah, she's
Sheila
a
Jackson.
Congress lady.
Uh, 2024.
Did
So yeah, I don't know. Go find the list for yourself of the Democrats who voted no on that.
Yeah, you know, there was a hoax evidently today that that Lord Miles died.
Again?
I guess this is they're trying to manipulate the poly market thing that the guy. Anyway, all right, guys, that's all I got for today. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Watcher. Chat, you guys were awesome as always. Oh, I just saw it, Joe. What's the topic for book 7? What will be the topic for book 7? So they're already.
Book 7, after I get number 6 out, book 7 will be tactical vehicle operations of some sort.
Ooh, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that would be a good class to do. Like convoy operations and things.
That's what I'm saying. Yep.
All right, guys, that's all I got. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Watcher. Thank you, chat. You guys are amazing as always. If you haven't done it already, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the links either to YouTube or Rumble with your friends. Let them know you're getting some good stuff over here at the Council on Future Conflicts. Don't hide it under a bush. Oh no, you should let it shine for the whole world to see, and share us out on social media. Maybe we can get people to watch our videos again. Who knows? Guys, that's all. Thank you. As always, stay safe.